Thank you. May I call the House to order? Thank you. A very warm welcome to you all. Let me recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister Mtwari, and also the presence of the Chairman of the Public Service Commission, Comrade Hungwe. The Governor here present, the Deputy Governors, and board members of the Reserve Bank Board, Reserve Bank staff here present. I am sure you are all waiting in awe to hear the Governor pronounce to us the monetary policy statement today. So I will not go into any other details, and just ask that without any further ado, Governor, please, may you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator Kuma, the Vice Chairperson of the Board of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, Deputy Minister Mtwari, the Chairman of the Public Service Commission, Dr. Hungwe, thank you for coming, board members of the Reserve Bank. I see that with the number of people here, some government officials, I see that there's a business community. I see my brother Katsande, I see Wandiwan. Thank you all for coming. And members of the media who are here, press, members of the press, I want to be very sure. I can see some analysts, my colleague, the Bankers Association Chair, President Mr. Sere, and all protocols observed. Let me thank you very much for coming to this occasion, this day. And let me start from the outset. Thank all the people that have contributed to this wonderful statement. We received a lot of contributions from the business community, from parliamentaries, from my bankers, from the academia, from the media yourselves, press, and of course, the labor organizations and members of the public. I want to thank you all for those contributions. They've been very valuable, and it is because of that teamwork that this monetary statement was able to be presented. Let me also start by advising that the Minister of Finance would have to be here, and the Prime Secretary, but they are in Zambia for the board meeting of the Zimbabwe Authority, so they won't be here in person. Of course, we've got Mr. Chu, who is on the board of the bank, and he's also representing Minister of Finance. Having said, I also see members of Parliament who are here, Mr. Mona, with the Chairman of the Budget and Finance in the Parliament, and all other members. The other members of Parliament, you will notice here, members of Parliament and the senators who are here, please receive a warm welcome to this institution. Having said so, let me just go through my statement, and I'm also hoping that they've come your numbers to listen to us in this presentation. After the introduction, we go to the policy measures and for the conclusion. The rest of all the other material we put in is an annex. So this one will be very short presentation, with the introduction, policy measures, and of course in the conclusion, in that order. Since the last monetary policy statement on the 1st of October 2018, Zimbabwe has witnessed significant changes on the economic front. The economy took a different course of direction from a positive economic trajectory to an inflationary environment over the last quarter of 2018. This situation is immediately addressed in order to resolve value for money, to restore value for money. The foreign exchange premiums on the parallel market, which ranged from 1.4 to 1.8 in September 2018, increased to current levels of between 3 to 4. This movement in forex premiums has had negative pass-through effects on inflation, which increased particularly from the September year-on-year level of 5.4% to 20.9% in October, and closing the year at 42.09%. On the positive side, separation of bank accounts into Nostro FC accounts and RTGS FC accounts has yielded positive results as reflected by the increase in Nostro FC accounts to 451.2 million as at end of 31 January 2019, compared to 240.5 million at the beginning of October 2018, a growth of 87.6%. The significant shift in economic fundamentals during the last quarter of 2018 also increased the practice by retailers and business of charging goods and services on the basis of a multi-tier pricing system, where a single product has different prices depending on the mode of payment, e.g. US dollars, electronic payment, mobile, and or notes. This situation is continued to put pressure on the country's boundary payment position. The current pricing structure indicates that the majority of the transactions in the economy are now largely being conducted in electronic money and bond notes at an implied parallel market exchange rate of around 3 to 4, 3 to 3.5 US dollar. In this respect, continuing to use the US dollar as a unit of account in the economy when its value is drifted away from the value of the RTGS dominated money supply has brought forth a number of challenges. The challenges include multi-tier pricing system, speculative pricing, loss of government revenue, valuation and accounting difficulties, asset liability mismatches, and of course, negative investor confidence. The current arrangement, if maintained, will pose the risk of costly re-dollarization of the economy, which will move the economy into recession. This is evidenced by the fact that some businesses are already gradually reducing prices due to low demand in the economy. More so, some of those charging in foreign currency have also been experiencing reduced demand for their products and are therefore reverting to pricing in RTGS and bond notes. Exporters, on the other hand, are fast becoming uncompetitive as the export incentive scheme has been eroded by the forex premiums-induced inflation. Such a scenario is not conducive for enhancing exports and diaspora remittances. Introducing of a international free market determining mechanism for trading of US dollars with the RTGS balances and bond notes is becoming imperative. Similarly, without a formal guidance on the relative values of the RTGS, bond notes, and US dollars, the transacting public is being prejudiced through the added pricing by businesses which factor in different implied parallel market exchange rates in their pricing system. This needs to be corrected. This statement, therefore, presents policies aimed at establishing a trading mechanism of RTGS balances and bond notes with international currencies through establishing an interbank foreign exchange market to restore domestic competitiveness and promote growth in the economy. The measures are also meant to strengthen demand for the current domestic forms of payments and to preserve foreign currency for external payments purposes that include importation of goods and services, foreign dividends payments, business and personal travel, and servicing of the country's external debt obligations. The measures in this statement are necessary to preserve the purchasing power of RTGS money and to restore export competitiveness within the economy. The rest of the mandatory statement is organized in the form that we talk about monetary policy measures, and we also discuss outlook and the conclusion, and of course the annexes that I referred to. Section 2. New monetary policy measures. Number 1. Establishment of an interbank foreign market in Zimbabwe. The bank has taken note of the excellent contributions from the business community, parliamentaries, bankers, academia, labor organizations, media, members of the press, and members of the public on the need to establish an interbank foreign exchange market to formalize the selling and the buying of US dollars and other currencies through banks and bureau de change. This is essential in order to bring sanity in the foreign currency market, whilst at the same time promoting exports, national remittances, and investments for the good of our national economy. The bank considered the implications, which include accounting, financial, economic, legal, and social implications that are embedded in the establishment of an interbank forex market within the context of the current national payment systems that include RTGS, mobile banking platforms, point of sale, bond coins, and bond coins. After taking account of all the implications and putting in place safeguards to maintain stability in the forex market, the bank is, with immediate effect, establishing an interbank foreign exchange market in Zimbabwe to formalize the trading of RTGS balances and bond notes with US dollars and other currencies on a willing buyer, willing seller basis through banks and bureaus of exchange under the following framework. A. Denominating the existing RTGS balances, bond notes, and coins in circulation as RTGS dollars, in order to establish an exchange rate between the current monetary balances in foreign exchange. The RTGS dollars thus become part of the multi-currency system in Zimbabwe. The legal instrument to give effect to this has been prepared and shall be gazetted soon. B. The RTGS dollars shall be used by all entities in Zimbabwe, including government and individuals in Zimbabwe, for the purposes of pricing of goods and services, recorded debts, accounting, and settlement of domestic transactions. C. The use of RTGS dollars for domestic transactions will eliminate the existence of the multi-tier pricing system and charging of goods and services in foreign currency within the domestic market. In this regard, prices in Zimbabwe should remain at their current levels and or to start to decline in sympathy with the stability in the foreign exchange rate, given the current monetary balances have not changed. In this respect, the Reserve Bank will commit all its efforts to use the instruments at its disposal to maintain stability of the exchange rate. The bank has arranged sufficient lines of credit to enable it to maintain adequate foreign currency to underpin the foreign exchange market. This is essential to store the purchasing power of RTGS balances through safeguarding price stability emanating from the pass-through effects of the exchange rate movements. E. Foreign currency for the interbank market shall be utilized for current bona fide payments for current invoices, except for educational fees. F. All foreign liabilities or legacy debts due to suppliers and service providers, such as IATA, declared dividends, portfolio investment, and others, shall be treated separately after registering such transactions with exchange control for the purposes of providing the bank with sufficient information that will allow it to determine the roadmap for orderly expansion of the legacy debt. Foreign currency requirements for government expenditure and other essential commodities that include fuel, cooking oil, electricity, medicines, and other chemicals shall continue to be made available through the existing letters of credit facilities and or the Foreign Allocations Committee. Banks shall report activities of the interbank foreign currency market to the bank that shall closely monitor the foreign currency trades on a daily basis using the form and format stipulated by the bank. For the first 2 weeks, the Reserve Bank shall monitor the banks on a 2-hourly basis. Bearers of the change shall be authorized to purchase foreign currency without limits, but shall be limited to sell foreign currency for small transactions such as subscriptions, business and personal travel, up to a maximum aggregate daily limit of 10,000 per bearer to change. Like with the banks, bearers of the change and their agents shall report their activities of their interbank on a daily basis as required by the bank. In order to allow exporters to benefit from the interbank foreign currency market and promote uninterrupted supply of foreign currency to the economy, the export retention schemes or thresholds which are in line with the regional practice shall be as follows. Manufacturing shall retain 80% of the export process. Gold producers, large-scale producers, 55% is the current position. Small-scale gold producers retain 55%. All other minerals, 50%. Tobacco and tobacco merchants who are financing the input schemes, 80%. Tobacco and cotton growers shall retain 30%. Horticulture, 80%. Transport, 80%. So is tourism, 80%. Similarly, in order to enhance liquidity within the foreign currency market, exporters shall be entitled to utilize their retained export receipts within 30 days, after which their utilized export receipts will be offloaded into the market at the prevailing market exchange rate. Lastly, on the interbank market, all international remittances and individual funds received from offshore shall continue to be treated as free funds. Policy number 2, local settlement of Nostro FC transfers. Given the successful completion of the separation of RTGS and Nostro FC accounts, the bank is, with effect from the 25th of February, putting in place a local Nostro FCA settlement platform to allow for domestic inter-bank settlement of Nostro FCA transfers. Point number 3, liquidity management. To enterprise stability, the bank shall aggressively intervene in the market to sterilize liquidity so as to help contain inflationary and exchange rate pressures. The bank will also implement the monetary targeting framework with the monetary aggregates as operational targets for monetary policy purposes. Under this framework, the bank will appropriately target growth in the base money with a view to help to stabilize and anchor macroeconomic stability. The existing monetary policy instruments, which include the issuance of service bonds, the changes in the statutory reserve requirements, will be instrumental in achieving the reserve money target. The fiscal stance taken by government to reduce recourse to the Reserve Bank overdraft and to limit the overdraft to statutory levels will provide further impetus on the bank's ability to contain pressures on the goods and foreign exchange market. Policy number 4. IFRS implementation. Following the initial publication of the International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS 9, compliant interim financial statements for the period ended 30 June 2018, banks were publicizing their 2018 year accounts by 31st March 2019. The implementation of IFRS 9 represents a significant milestone in the financial stability enhancement due to the forward-looking nature of the provisions set under the new standard. We welcome standards under this reporting system. 5. Macro policy credentials framework. As part of ongoing initiatives to strengthen the stability and resilience of the financial system, the bank is putting in place a macro prudential policy framework which will be operational by June 3, 2019. The framework provides for effective macro prudential tools, appropriate governance, transparency, and accounting arrangements that facilitate the identification of the build-up of risk, of systemic risks, and monitoring thereof to ensure appropriate measures are taken in a timely manner. 6. Anti-money laundering measures. Zimbabwe is a party to various international legal instruments that require the country to put in place robust anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism framework to prevent the financial systems from being misused by criminals for purposes of money laundering, financing of terrorism, and other illicit purposes. Banks and executive non-financial business and professional bodies that include lawyers, accountants, estate agents, casinos, and precious stones and precious metal dealers play a key role in identifying and reporting of suspected cases of money laundering and related criminal activities within the financial system. Banks have reached acceptable levels in the implementation of the anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism requirements. Going forward, the Bank's Financial Intelligence Unit, FIU, will be placing greater focus towards ensuring compliance by the other designated non-financial businesses and professionals to ensure that the position these measures are taking place, including through invocation of administrative penalties prescribed under the Money Laundering and Process of Crime Act. The bank calls upon all stakeholders with various roles in the fight against money laundering, including agencies involved in the identification, investigation, and prosecution of money laundering cases, to work diligently to improve the efficiency of the country's AML CTF ratio. 7. Cyber risk management. The bank is aware that cyber risk will keep changing due to the evolution of cyber threats in the country and indeed across the globe. Financial institutions and individuals are increasingly being exposed to cyber attacks which have become more sophisticated, frequent, targeted, and difficult to identify. The bank is payment service providers and the bank's boards of directors and senior management to do the following. 1, to intensify their efforts and take responsibility for setting, overseeing, and the strategy and ensure that cyber risks are accorded due consideration. 2, update cyber security policies, strategies, and frameworks and submit the same to the central bank by the 31st of March 2019. 4, to ensure that information technology IT systems objectives include maintaining the capacity of effectively anticipate, identify, and recover from cybersecurity attacks for overall IT resilience. 4. Immediately make a report whenever an institution becomes aware of the cyber security incidents within the system which adversely impact on the customers or the ecosystem. 8. Migration of Euro Mastercard Visa EMV technology. Further to cybercrime guidance, market participants are required to migrate to Euro Mastercard and the Visa EMV standards to enhance card security features to curb cyber-related activities. Currently, over 80% of the card infrastructure in the country is now EMV compliant. Financial institutions should therefore ensure that all the cards issued in the market are EMV compliant by 31 March 2019. Conclusion in following up. The interbank foreign exchange system will have significant efforts or effects on the economies, country, external and fiscal sectors, domestic production, and on the welfare of citizens. The system is envisaged to go a long way in rebalancing the economy and setting it on the sustainable growth trajectory. As such, Zimbabwe's short to medium-term outlook following the implementation of the interbank market will derive character from sustained positive growth, external sector sustainability, and increased capacitization in the productive sectors of the economy. In particular, the new framework is set to bring sanity, certainty, credibility, and functionality of the economy's foreign exchange market. This, in turn, will address the valuation and unit of account difficulties that has been constraining investment inflows into the country. In this regard, investment inflows are projected to improve going forward, and this will drive growth on account of opening up of new businesses, as well as improved availability of foreign exchange for domestic industries. Furthermore, the fair alignment of the exchange rate is set to trigger an expenditure switching effect across the economy, which will benefit local producers, thereby limiting imports of consumptive goods and services. Similarly, the measures are set to encourage export growth as the market determined exchange rate improves the external competitiveness of domestic producers that include tobacco and cotton producers. On the fiscal front, the interbank foreign currency system is envisaged to enhance fair valuation of imports in points of entry. This has potential to significantly improve government revenues and enhance the stability of the country's fiscal balance. Overall, the measures contained in this statement are expected to improve the competitiveness of the economy by appropriately rewarding exporters whilst at the same time reducing price distortions and arbitrage within the domestic market. The bank commits all its efforts to reduce inflation within the growth-enhancing levels, while minimizing the adverse effects of the tight monetary framework in order to enhance production and productivity within the economy. I want to thank you, and may God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. before you begin to unpack the monetary statement policy that's just been given out here, can we just give a round of applause to the governor and thanks very much to our dear friends from the press. I am not sure that when I ask questions to the governor from the floor, whether the governor will actually be able to see who is asking. So I'm just asking you to grow a little shorter and read to, so that I can see the people that will be asking questions. Okay, thank you. Can we have questions from the floor? Thank you. I will ask Professor Ashok to ask the question.
Thank you, Governor. First and foremost, I'd like to congratulate the Governor and the Reserve Bank. Thank you, Madam Chair. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the Governor and the Reserve Bank team for taking this extremely courageous step. It is indeed very courageous to be able to take a move, to move away from control, to move in the direction of a more market-based allocation of foreign exchange. There are many risks involved in it, but I think the Reserve Bank will be working with the government and all of us to put in many safeguards in place to ensure that the exchange rate remains at a reasonable level. So again, my congratulations, and this is a demand or a request that has been in the works for many, many months between the industry, between academia, and from various other important stakeholders in the economy. And so this shows that very much, as His Excellency the President has said, this is a listening government, this is a listening Reserve Bank. And so we should all put our shoulders together, our hands together, to make sure that this measure, that bold measure that has been put in place is successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those encouraging words. Mr. Manduans.
Thank you. Certainly, the movement from control of the exchange rate and going into the auction system is positive. My question to the Central Bank Governor is that, is there any indication of the rate or the target which you are working toward? The second point is that we all know that monetary policies need to be supported by fiscal policy measures. It will be useful if from the Treasury we hear some comments on the fiscal side that complement the monetary policy. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take another question, two more questions.
Thank you. My name is Ebraj from Parliament. I wanted to ask the governor the implication of this market-based mechanism in view of Section 44B of the Reserve Bank Amendment Act, which stipulated the exchange rate for bond notes and US dollars as to what, or as 1:1.
Thank you. That's a question.
Yes, in addition to what will be the starting rate, how will this interbank market manage the rate from running away, as people prefer? the US dollar, how will the rate be controlled?
Thank you. One more person and then.
Thank you. I wanted clarification from the governor if this monetary statement marks the migration from the multi-currency system into adopting a wholly Zimbabwean local currency. Because the auction system, to me, it sounds like we have a currency now in place, which is trading.
Thank you. May I ask the governor to respond to these questions and then we will take some. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the questions, which I do believe are very rich questions. Professor, thank you. And the deputy will look at safeguards to ensure that, at least as we said in front of the statement, to ensure that there's price stability and there's exchange stability. The role of the central bank, if you've noticed, we are saying that the central bank wants to move to shift to our key results areas of doing two things basically: price stability and exchange rate stability. By ensuring that there is a stable exchange rate in Zimbabwe, that the inflation is low, it means, what are we doing? It means we are basically preserving value for money. We are securing the purchasing power parity for money, as opposed to let the parallel exchange markets determine the value for money. We are saying that we are taking the role, a right for all, of ensuring that the value for money is restored. It means that the variables that are critical to us is the inflation. And in Zimbabwe, the best way of managing inflation is to ensure that the foreign exchange is available, that the rate is stable. That is the best way of preserving value for money. Right now, let me start by Honorable Joel, because it's related to what I'm saying. Right now, the value for money, the purchasing power for money, is being eroded by the parallel exchange rates which are in Zimbabwe. Right now, between 3 and 4 to the US dollar. So if you continue with 1-to-1, on the other hand, the money is being eaten, so to say, by inflation, which is caused by the pass-through effects of the parallel exchange rates. Therefore, the best way to restore value for money, the best way to ensure that the money is purchasing parity or the purchasing power money is restored, is to ensure that we manage inflation, we manage stability of the exchange rate. If the rate goes down from 4 or 3.5 to 3 to 2.5, for example, it means that we are reserving value for money. Because in that case, how do we do it? This way the question which my brother Anthony asked, use the rate, its target. Right now we are so encouraged by the fact that the fiscal side of the equation is not producing the relative balances as before. And also because of the tax measures that have been put in place, we have seen money moving from consumers, government, money moving from consumers to business. That constraint tells us that already there is the money supply has gone down. Inflation is caused by increased money supply. right now the increased money supply is lower than before, which means that people, there's not too much money to chase too few foreign currency or goods on the market. In our target for the rate, we don't have a target there because we are saying it's a willing buyer, willing seller. Which comes to what someone says, how to control the runaway inflation. We manage the runaway inflation from two ways. One, to ensure that, as we have said in mandatory statement here, we put in place lines of credit to stabilize the stability of the exchange rate. Two, we are ensuring that the interbank will provide foreign currency to those bona fide transactions, not for the purposes of funding nostro accounts. That's not a bona fide transaction. Someone goes to the bank with a current invoice, which requires foreign currency, and you purchase the money from the bank and conduct your business. And you also manage the runaway of dollars, of the rate, from the perspective that people don't have money. To give you statistics for this economy, out of 3.8 million accounts, you'll find that people with the money above 1,000 those accounts, they are only about 10%. So it's very simple for us to see those ones who are manipulating the rate of exchange. We cannot manipulate, not through the ESA, but through the banking sector. That's why we said we want to monitor the banking sector to see who will be that one with too much money. That's why I spend more time on the anti-money laundering measures. That's why I spend more of my time on compliance for banks to ensure that we do monitor those who have too much money in what are they doing, what are they putting. So ours is more of monitoring compliance in terms of the laws of Zimbabwe. So we don't expect to see the runaway of the exchange rate. If the rate was is right now is between 3 and 4, or that's 3.5, an average in target, we expect to go down all the measures that we put in place. And we expect that pass-through or that benefit to go to the consumers. For most of the companies we're now using the power markets for pricing purposes. Then the limiting factors as follows. If firms continue to increase their prices, they are going to find no sale. There will be no sale. Now that they go broke because of their choice. There is a limit to which a price can continue to go up. And those are the fundamentals in the market. And as we start with this line of credit, which will be going down to safeguard and to assist the market, we also know that the producers of exportable products are also going to increase. The missing link in this country is and was the right price for the product. When we used to give an export incentive scheme, which by the way, after this falls away, naturally, was 5% or 10% export incentive now makes no sense when inflation is now 42.9%. The export incentive scheme was very useful when the inflation was below 5%. Because producers used to get the real incentive. Now with 42.5% or 42.09%, and with the power markets at 3 to 4%, it means that that incentive is overtaken by events. So the events of between October to date, they've significantly changed the landscape of this economy. Section 44B is being changed according to recognize the RTGS dollars in this economy, which is made up of RTGS balances, 1 notes and 1 coins. You spoke about migration. We say that the RTGS dollars are going to be part of the basket of currencies in Zimbabwe. We've got the yuan, the US dollar, the rand, the Canadian dollar. We have got Botswana kuna, Indian rupee. We are saying aside those ones, there will be RTGS dollars, which are on the platform called RTGS platform. So I don't think we're migrating. We are only calling what it is today. If you ask me what we've done, we've basically formalized what is happening. We've basically ensured that no one goes and buy currency from the power market, because there's a law there. It says 10 years prison. So we've provided a formal way of trading in foreign currency. So when you talk about the informal sector, or you talk about the power market of 3 to 5 or to 4, there's trends which you yourself know. And therefore, we are saying let's formalize that market. And in formalizing that market, these are the implications. You can't just do it overnight, you just have to buy over by saying we formalize. In terms of banking records, nothing has changed. Because if you have $1,000 in your account today, it remains $1,000. But now it's not called $1,000 in terms of what RTGS dollars. Nothing has changed. But if you now want to buy foreign currency with your account, you go to the bank. If the bank is 1-to-1, then you can still get you 1-to-1 from the US dollar $1,000 or the RTGS $1,000. But if the rate is now 2, for example, it means that you get 500. But your account remains just like your budget. It's in RTGS dollars. Just like all your money, we say that the banks, see, we've got something called electronic dollars in Zimbabwe, which you all know about. So that's the position. So the migration, we are only calling by the names of what is happening, and we don't migrate anything. We are only separating that these are RTGS dollars, these are US dollars, and that they should talk, which means exchangeability. That's what we've done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor. We'll take more questions. Thank you. Allow me to go to that gentleman, then I'll come to you and to the lady you are there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Question to the Governor. I think I understood what he said.
Sorry, do you want to tell us who you are and where you are from?
Thank you. My name is Napoleon Yania from the Ginger Apple.
From?
Ginger Apple.
Ginger Apple.
Yes. My question is to the Governor. I think I understand, coming from a layman, I think I understand what he's saying, but maybe if you could also explain with without the jargon that, you know, the fiscal and economic and financial jargon, is the US dollar and the bond note still 1-to-1? If it's not, then what is it?
Can I take the question? Okay, Madam.
Hi, Gabrielle Staples from the Wall Street Journal. There have been a lot of complaints about the Zimbabwe's economy, about businesses, about dollar allocation, and that hasn't been done in a fair way, and that people were profiting from getting unfair that some businesses were getting unfair allocation of forex while others were getting their fair share. Do you expect this measure to resolve this problem, and that basically anybody who needs forex to import things will be able to get the forex that they need?
Thank you. Can you, up your voice a bit.
Yes. Looking at the monetary statistics, you find that foreign currency in circulation is around 451 million compared to money supply and RTGS balances. This inordinate imbalance would dictate that a temporal shock is unavoidable. One would naturally expect a soft landing strategy on part of Reserve Bank. What do we have to avoid a hard landing on the currency front? Because I heard the governor talk about inflation targeting, which to me would be a measure to contain money supply growth, which is important in maintaining current stability at the moment. But you would agree with me that inflation targeting is not a one-day job. It would need time to be achieved. What we have is money in the economy. And the momentum coming out of that money in the momentum cannot be dealt with in one day. As banks start to trade, it is going to be unavoidable for the banks to meet. It is not going to be possible for the banks to meet outstanding invoices, which in my view spill into billions of dollars against 451 million, which is available at Reserve Bank, of which the part of it is going to meet essentials as per retention schemes in place at the moment. So we would want a satisfactory lending strategy to the market to be given by Reserve Bank.
Thank you, and once again, let me start by Ginger Emo Group. Ask a very good question. What we are saying, Tony Chapman, in simple and fair terms, is that currently the barrel rate of exchange, which you know yourself, is between 3 and 4 US dollars. Agree? Right. We are now saying, should the parallel rate of exchange guide the country, or should you do it formal? That is that we need to formalize. 2, the take-on balances from currently today, the take-on balances would be is 1-to-1 is there with US dollar. So in your books of accounts, nothing is changing. If you don't want to import, you remain with your $10,000 in your account. That's like what we're doing today. You either use stable cash, one money, or use the delegate, or use RTGS. Nothing is changing. Zero. So that's why it is very simple for banks to take over balances. They're there. But going forward, we are saying let's recognize the effects in those accounts. Just call them by their names, which is true. I call it RTGS dollars. But this is electronic money. Let me try to go back in history. The 2009 Finance Act, number 2, it said all the balances shall be called what? US dollars. That's what it says in it. That's what it says today. That's what we are amending. Because even by that time, no US dollars moved into the country to support that statement. Nothing. So, in the beginning, there was just an instrument. We said that Zimbabwe has got a currency called US dollar. But we never saw the transfer flows of money coming to the Reserve Bank here with US dollars. So, what we saw were RTGS, which by the National Payment Systems Act of 2001, 2002, which created the electronic money in Zimbabwe, called US dollars. So all what we are doing is we have to sanitize that position by calling them RTGS dollars. That's what they are. So, and you are going to continue to have our RTGS dollars. I will not buy foreign currency. If the rate is 1-to-1, we shall buy it 1-to-1. If that is 2, we shall buy it as 2. That's what we are saying in simple terms. but your account, no one's changing your account. If you don't want to buy currency, you don't need your money in your account. That's how simple in terms it is. And there is no jargon on that one. Is that what are we doing to the capitalization of banks? The bank's capital base will remain as the old arrangement. We want them to have $100 million of the RTGS dollars. So that's the position. Then we are being asked about the Wall Street Journal, right? Yeah, you spoke very well. Right now, our system, current system, is rewarding importers at the expense of exporters. We are transferring value from an exporter to an importer. Yet the exporter is the goose that lays the golden egg. So there's value transfer from the exporter to the importer. How do you correct that phenomenon? By ensuring that the price for exportables is given its right level, so that they can continue to export more. The more they export more, the more they get more foreign currency. Then the better the rate will be stabilized. And the best way of doing it is through the banks. And therefore, you are very right that these measures, they bring fairness and transparency in the way foreign currency is being allocated and distributed to the market players and to demand and supply. Because you just go to a bank with your money and buy the car and pay your school fees and buy your raw materials. So yes, this is the best way of doing it. That's the most efficient way of doing it. Soft lending. What's going to be very simple. Let me start by statistics. The $10 billion of deposits in Zimbabwe is made up of the following characters. Number one, there's $4 billion of loans and overdrafts. So when you look at yourself at $10 billion, that's not usable money. That's deposits. In that deposit, $4 billion are loans and advances to the private sector. Two, there are treasury bills that have been purchased by the banks and individuals and corporates of $3 billion. We're now left with that's now $7 billion. So it means there were $3 billion. The other $1 billion or so, in fact, I think the treasury bills are about 2.5. Then the other 1.2 billion, there about 3 billion, is a savings bonds. That is these banks and corporates and purchase from Zimbabwe, from the Zimbabwe. So our usable money, that's called RTGS now, in the account today, which we speak, is 1.8 billion. So not 10 billion, but that. So, if it's $1.8 billion, if today we have got 451, over and above the lines of credit that I have spoken about, which are put in place, in fact, not that which are put in place. If you add the 451, let's assume we borrowed about 500 million or even 600 million. If you add your 600 to 400, that's $1 billion. If today with the rate of 3, it's a 3 into 1.8 is $600 million. So it means if you bring only $600 million in this column, we wipe out all the RTGS balances. The money today, if you bring in today $600 million times 3 rate, it means that all the RTGS balances will wipe off. The banks will only be left to hold the 3 bills instead of the bonds. So they'll come to us for borrowing, and you then increase the rate. That no one will borrow money again. If I saw doing out there for those people. So, the safeguards, no, you can go and try. The rates are just going to go down. And there is a limit which a bank can lend money because of their balance. There is a limit which you can also borrow money from the market to go and purchase currency, because they will hit you by interest. So, we think the soft landing we put it at day one. We are going to seed the banks to show that this is able to achieve what our dream is, to show that we stabilize the rate of exchange. And that's what I should give you the 36. That so-called $10 billion that is available to the market. The banks might end up borrowing from us, which they're going to do anyway. We know that. And once they start borrowing from us, we now come to what we call a bank rate. Once the bank rate is established, that the banks also pass the back to what? The consumers. That's the position.
Thank you very much, Governor. I think that has been very clear.
Thank you, Honorable Governor. I'd just like to add a comment to support what he has been saying on 2 points. Firstly, relating to inflation. Inflation in Zimbabwe is currently entirely dictated by the parallel market rate. It has nothing to do with the monetary reality of the country. In fact, the RTGS balances have been quite stable for the last several months. And as you know, the Minister of Finance and the Ministry of Finance is putting every effort in place to keep control on government expenditure. So, the point is that inflation is being caused by parallel market rates of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the problem that is happening because people don't know how to price imports. And so they're putting any markup, any rate, and that causes inflation. So pharmaceuticals, somebody who's importing pharmaceuticals, it might be $1 worth of pharmaceuticals, he multiplies it by 6 and sells it to the pharmacies. That causes inflation. This system will stop that completely because you will have a transparent interbank rate on a daily basis, which will be the rate which will be used by the market and by importers to price their goods. And it is our opinion that it is likely to be in the range of under 3. So we are likely to have a fall in inflation rather than an increase in inflation. The second point I would just like to add to what the Governor has said about the exchange rate running away. This is not going to be, so there's going to be no speculation on the interbank market. The people who are going to bid on the interbank market are going to be genuine users of foreign exchange for raw materials, industrial raw materials, capital goods, etc. This is the system that has been put in place in Nigeria very successfully. It's now in place in Angola. And we will definitely find that it is going to be successful in Zimbabwe. So it's going to be a managed foreign exchange market. If you want to buy a Porsche or an aeroplane, you are not going to come onto this market. Okay, this is the market which is for essential users. And apart from that, just to reassert what she said about RTGS balances, it is not true that all the 10 billion are available, as he has said. Over and above that, we know that there are some major holders of RTGS balances, and there can be an understanding with such people not to throw all their balances onto this market, because that will not fulfill either their goals or the government of Zimbabwe or the Reserve Bank's goals. They must actually bid for the current use, the current requirements that they have for imports.
Needed, further explanation, and just to reassure that we have a very stable situation coming, out of this monetary policy. Okay, I will take 3 last questions. Okay, and the gentleman at the back. And thank you. Okay. All right.
My name is Privilege Shani, the Deutsche Welle, German TV. Forgive me for my ignorance. Where does the bond not fit in this whole equation?
All right, next. You don't have the question?
I put the question. Okay. My name is Tilak Shinamasa from Interface Solutions. thank you for the delivering the monetary policy today. But I haven't heard anything about the incentives for depositors. Because obviously, if you want more forex, then there has to be incentives for people with forex at home in their pocket to deposit in the banks. Because I think that's a major contributor as well to the pot. So are there any incentives for depositors? That's the question to government.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Otis Banda from Terra. My question relates to, I would like to know if the central bank could just give us an indication of the maturity profile of treasury bills and whether this will not have any impact on fund supply.
Thank you. The very last question.
My name is Tony. I think my question is the issue of clarity. Who is going to be funding these MPs right? And I want to understand if someone is going to be going there, are you going to be supporting lending rights? Do the banks have enough currency to then use the exchange rate that they are going to be paying? What is going to be banking this exchange rate?
Thank you very much.
Maybe I want to request you to answer this again. Maybe somebody missed.
Okay, yeah. So since you say that you're going to be using a certain rate that you're going to pay, my question is that when you don't have to hard currency, what will you be making is currency? If I need to pay, who is going to be making the actual payment for it?
Thank you. Let's start by the first question again. You asked about where the bond note is there, where it is. Very simple. We say that from now, today, the RTGS dollars will be composed of RTGS balances, bond notes, and bond coins. If you want, using, I think my brother will insult me again. If you want, you can use, say, that the US dollar is a fiat currency for the nostro account. The bond note becomes the fiat currency for the nostro, for the RTGS dollars. So the bond note fits very well it's part of the RTGS dollars. That's the family of RTGS dollars. So you've got RTGS dollars, bond notes, and bond coins on their side in the basket of currencies which Zimbabwe is using. I think it's clear. So that's where they are. The number two, incentives, I agree with you. Very clear. We have requested banks to provide incentives in the form of interest on the deposits which they are holding, so that they also give a fair price or fair return on the deposits that they are holding. So at the end of the day, they can also have a motivation and interest to deposit more. Let me clarify a bit about the exchange rate, about auction, not auction. We want auction, we want to use the auction route. We are using what is referred to in economics as managed floating. On a willing buyer, willing seller basis. Then lastly, they asked about the availability of foreign currency. Let me start by saying this, that foreign currency availability is a question of price. If the price is right, we can also have foreign currency. If the price is right, we can also have foreign currency. That's like a product. We say in economics, price is a rationing device. Prices are rationing devices. What it means that it's a supply and demand issue. This is why when the demand is very high for Mazor, they don't stay on the shelf. The price is low. If the price go up, like people, those are who are buying it to $1, they won't be, if you now $2, they won't be able to buy. So it's about the prices. So as long as the price is right, there's also availability. So foreign currency is also going to be there. What is more important is the price. And we are saying we are going to ensure that the prices does not go through the roof because of the measures that we put in place. So my brother, you are guaranteed that the foreign currency is going to be there. What might not be there? What might not be there? Other teachers' balances to buy the foreign currency. What might not be there? What's foreign currency going to be there? From where? My friend, Zimbabwe last year, they did $6.2 billion foreign currency. $1 billion from the diaspora remittances, 4.2 billion from exports, and the balance from loans, which we are drawing down. That's 6.2 billion. Or number two, that's $6 billion, which from this country, where GDP before rebasing was 16 billion. If you divide yourself, 16 to 16, less than 3. Not all money is used for importation. Guys, let's remove this perception in this country that you only need foreign currency for domestic consumption. Right? So, if you remove in the 24 or in $16 billion, the impact of foreign currency is about 40%. You are left with a low figure. And that becomes 12 billion. 6 billion drive 12 billion, which only the rate is 1 2. Now it's 25 billion. To divide again, 6 in 25 is about 4. You remove again domestic consumption and domestic trades. That goes to about 80. So 3. So, and also, just add, don't destroy the exporter at the expense of the importer. We are exporting our gold. Where from? From our gold, from our platinum, from our tobacco, from our cotton. Those are major export items. And chrome, of course. If you add those ones, find out we are saying that let the exporter, let the tobacco producer, get the right price. If the rate of exchange today is 2.5 or is 3, whatever it is, 2.5 times 2 is $5. So the producer of tobacco will get $5. Not at TGS. You can go to the bank and buy the foreign guy that he wants and import it $5. That's a very efficient system. So I'm concerned. I raise my case. Colleagues, thank you for coming and wish you well. Where those ones after reading for questions. So there's one. Where is that body?
Yeah, Governor, I asked about the maturity profile of treasury bills and whether there's no danger of that increasing money supply.
Sorry, thank you very much. The maturity profile for treasury bills is in the annexure, which you have put there. You can see them, but I can tell they don't fly the market. Thank you. Thank you very much. I wish you well. Thank you for coming.